Aaron, Sundstrom. Yeah, Aaron. Well, look, I'll tell you this. The first time that kid and I traveled together, I knew he was dynamite with elderly women. And I thought to myself, this one is a closer. He is a closer.
First time I met Aaron was at Mackey's, the local CEB watering hole. It was pretty obvious it was going to be CEB material. He was down with the CEB lingo, had a brewski, and he was tall and well dressed.
Aaron is a tall guy.
Well, this is my first job, and I think Aaron has been really, really wonderful in teaching me a lot of things about the business world. I mean, there are a lot of things that they just don't teach you in college, and I'd have to say that right off the bat he told me that he had been a teacher before, and I think that's really shown through, and I've learned things like I was actually the first State of the Union, and Birkenstocks are actually appropriate business attire, and this is actually one of the things I think is most important, that 1 exclamation point means thank you, 2 exclamation points means really, really thank you, and if you have 2 exclamation points with a little smiley face underneath, that means you just did a stellar job.
I remember when Aaron came to the program, it was a period of great growth for us, and he was a young man in search of his destiny. I remember when he first made his mark was probably with his first bark to the team. It was the first of the Iowan barks that we had ever had here in the General Council Roundtable, and I honestly can't imagine what will happen in his absence.
So who am I supposed to talk about?
Aaron Sundstrom. Aaron Sundstrom. Aaron, where do you start with Aaron, really? Aaron, she's a linchpin of the whole operation, really. She's a huge contributor. She's gold standard for content knowledge. She's gold standard for member service. She's my go-to person for all the questions I have. And I think she helps orphans, too.
Aaron Sundstrom. Yeah, I remember Aaron.
I remember Aaron too.
Yeah.
Pretty nice guy.
We didn't see him very often, though. I mean, he'd come in like around 10 after going to ABP to get his bagels, but that
his
was
girlfriend was
yeah.
down there. She worked at ABP, I think. Maybe it was Liddy, maybe?
I think he went out with her for a little while. I don't know what happened with that.
Oh, sorry.
And then remember he couldn't go there anymore because they were too expensive. He had to start going somewhere else, and so he couldn't date that girl anymore.
Is that why they broke up?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he was too nice, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what he said.
And then, around 11, he'd leave and go to Subway, and he'd be gone for a couple hours. I don't know what he'd do then.
Well, then the gym.
Yeah, that was at like 2 or 3.
Right, and he'd stay for 2 or 3 hours. He must be pretty buff by now.
Yeah, I saw him in the gym a few times. He really works that bike. He's really good at that. What else about Aaron?
I don't know, just a nice guy. Really loud, though. Really, really loud. I would have to do my member calls in random offices. I don't know, he was just really loud.
Yeah, and we never really got to talk to him. I mean, he had these big headphones on his head all the time, so, members would call and he wouldn't even know the phone was ringing because he was listening to music really loud, so, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know that much about him. I mean, there was that instance, though. Remember what happened?
The Barbie incident.
Dan bought him a Barbie doll dressed as a United Airlines stewardess, and Aaron became very, very attached to her.
Why did Barbie leave? I don't know. If I sat at home every night waiting for someone to come home from Wisconsin or Iowa or Maryland, I'd leave too. She just got tired of being a doormat. And literally, he left her at the office all the time. In his cube, didn't even go back for her. It was tragic. So Barbie just decided to leave. It was liberating. She set herself free from the wrath of Aaron.
But I think it was pretty traumatic and actually very entertaining for the rest of us.
Oh my God, I cannot believe Aaron did that to me.
Driving through the countryside, Aaron made a point of naming every single kind of corn that was growing by the side of the road. And it's Iowa, so there's a lot of corn. Some of it's for eating and some of it's for not, and Aaron can tell you about every single one of them in great detail.
You know, CEB often focuses on spreadsheets and fast tracks and quantification of business, and Aaron and I, we're relationship guys. You know, we're about relationships. We're like this.
So I was really glad to finally get an MMT, but then it was the Midwest, and that's just not cool. But I was stuck with it, and I thought, at least I get to work with a guy. Not that it did me any good. He saved all those special attentions for the ladies over 50, the flight attendants who gave him upgrades, the women at the Sheraton who gave him the best suite, the chick at Hertz who always gave him the bigger car. Now I'm stuck by myself again, driving through Kansas in a Taurus. I don't know. Aaron was a good guy. I wish he wasn't always at the on-sites hungover from Jack and Coke too late in the hotel bar. But other than that, yeah, sure, he was a great guy to have be my first account director.
He likes Birkenstocks? I mean, what else are you looking for here? I'm kind of drawing a blank.
You couldn't hold the guy back from a line by line. Loved line by lines. Closing day pull-ups? Unbelievable. He was the first one here every time. War room? Lived for war room. Loved to talk about his units. But the thing Aaron would say he loved the most, one-on-ones with his manager. He'd love to go through his fast track and his pipeline. Let's talk renewals.